Hey everyone, okay, I think this is working. So I'm gonna let people trickle in right now, and then we'll get started in just a second here. Let me make sure that this is working right. Yeah, we're good. Tech issues. Okay, so I'm gonna let people trickle in. We'll get started in just a second here, but yeah, I wanted to do this live so that we can plan out our 2024s together. This tea is very hot, I'll put it over here. But yeah, this is really good for you if you are a YouTuber or an entrepreneur, or you're a content creator, or if you want to get started with that, or even if you're established already. So yeah, I'm gonna let people trickle in right now. If you're watching, good, I see we're live. Okay, now it's working. So if you're watching, how about you put in the chat where you're from? Little side note. So what I'm going to be showing all you today is, hi Delsa, I'm going to be showing all of you today some great tools and some techniques to plan out our 2024. Little side note, some of the techniques I'm going to share with you is going to help you stay really well on track, even in those moments when life, comes in the way, because, we're living life and, like things come up. So for example, this morning, I wanted to do this live, but it was like 3 a.m. and I woke up because I live in Southern California and there's a good population of homeless people. And out of nowhere at like 3 a.m., like a homeless guy just started screaming outside of my building for I don't know why. And I'm not judging him, but it woke me up, like this horrific, very disturbing scream. But by applying some of the techniques that I'm going to share with you today, I was able to still stay on track with everything. So today is all about planning our content for our weeks and then just planning our overall goals for the year. So I'm really excited. So we're going to get started here. I see everything's working properly. So I want to start off by saying that as a YouTuber and as an entrepreneur and just anyone in general who is setting goals for themselves, you have to realize that a lot of people don't get what they want because they aren't clear on what they want. I think it was Charlie Munger who said, in order to get what you want, you have to deserve what you want. The world isn't a crazy enough place to reward a bunch of undeserving people. And so what that really means is that in order to get what we want, we have to be clear and we also have to deserve it. So we're going to take the time to plan out our whole years and even break it apart by week. But I just really want you to see that the goal here is to achieve our goals, to get what we want. And I just really want you to remember that quote and to really carry it forward. And what does it mean to deserve what you want? Think of it this way. Everyone wants things in life. People want cars, people want their dream life. But if you don't deserve what you want, the world isn't going to give it to you. All these people want things, but most people don't have what they want. And to deserve what you want, I believe that it comes from coming from an unselfish place. I believe that that means putting in the work. I believe that that means showing up and also pivoting as needed, especially if you are a YouTuber or an entrepreneur. I know that you know that this journey isn't always easy. However, by deserving what you want, by coming at it from a good place, then you will enjoy the fruits of your labor. So the first thing I want to share with all of you is how to plan out our week when it comes to content creation. Because as YouTubers, as entrepreneurs, many of us want to spread our message. And not only spread our message and our content, but to help people beyond just a YouTube video, beyond just a piece of content on Instagram, on TikTok. And so the way that we do that is by offering additional products and services. But in order to get the message out there, we have to stay consistent with content. And so I created a really good tool for all of you. You're watching this on YouTube, so in the description down below, you should see a Canva template. And let me see if this share screen works. Hi, Paul, I see you here. Nice to see you. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen. We're going to cross our fingers that it works. Haven't used StreamYard in a while, but there is, okay, cool, it's working. There is a link down below for this right here. And this is a January of 2024 content calendar. Now, I encourage you to fill this out so that you stay well on track. And so what you can do is you can delete some of these, like if you don't post on these platforms, but if you post on another platform, like let's say Twitter, then you can add this in. But this is something that I recommend that all of you do. If you are a content creator, a YouTuber, an entrepreneur, I encourage you to get into the flow of content creation by creating a calendar like this. And I also encourage you to maybe print it out, put it on your wall, or you can put it on your desktop like I did. So let me show you mine. So this right here is mine. And you can see here that as I'm going along, I'm crossing things out. And this helps me to stay on track with my goals in 2024, because like many of you, I have goals as well to grow my audience, to grow my business, and that requires sticking to consistent content. We want to be in a good flow, but it's also good to have something like this to keep us well on track. Because if we don't have something like this, if we don't plan out our content, it's like before we know it, we're like halfway through a month and we haven't done anything. So this is good to do. And again, this doesn't need to be perfect. And so like me, like for example, last Thursday, I was hoping to post on LinkedIn and I was hoping to write a blog. However, I didn't get to that. And again, that doesn't mean I have to be perfect. I'm planning to do that later today, maybe tomorrow morning. But I encourage you to do this so that you can stay on track. And this isn't something that I want you to beat yourself up on if you don't meet your goals with it. The cool thing about Canva, if you're using this template, is that you can move stuff around. So like, let's say you wanted to post a YouTube video today, but you didn't get to it, then you can move this around. So this is one really great tool to help you actually plan out your week when it comes to creating content. And I encourage you all to use that tool. And again, you don't need to be perfect, but let me know if that calendar works down below. If it doesn't, then I'll try to put a link here in the comments so that all of you can use it. But that's one really good tool for planning out our years. I want to show you another really powerful tool. So to introduce this concept, there's this really good book. Many of you may have heard of it. Some of you may have read it. It's called The Answer by John Assaraf. And it says on here, grow any business, achieve financial freedom, and live an extraordinary life. And in this book, it's cool because they have like both like really practical business advice, but towards the beginning, like they have like the manifestation piece. So in other words, it's what I told you in the beginning. It's how to get clear on your goals and what you actually want so that it actually comes into your reality. So to explain the science behind it, think of it this way. If you know what you want, if you're very clear and specific on what you want, then every day you're going to take the steps to close the gap. But if you're not clear on what you want, if one day you kind of want this, you kind of want that, how can you close the gap if this thing isn't solid? And so in this book, I encourage all of you to read it. But in this book, he shares a really cool story. And I actually copied his story, and the same result happened to me. So John was saying that in the book, when he was like younger, he made what's known as like a vision board. So he got really clear on what he wanted, and he took like a board and he put all these pictures on it of what he wanted. He put like his dream body, his dream house. He put what he wanted to achieve in business. And this was like, on like a physical board. And then he put the board in a box. And then like many years later, his younger son opened the box and he was like, "Daddy, what's this?" And John was like, "Oh, it's my old vision board." And he looked at it and he was like so in shock because on the board, he was living in the dream house that he put on the vision board. Isn't that crazy? Like he lived in it. And the science behind it is, you may think, oh, what a crazy coincidence. But no, like the science behind it is that John got super clear on what he wanted. He put it on the board, and then his subconscious remembered that. So when he was looking for houses later and he saw the house, it was like bingo. There was like a connection there. And he was like, that's the house I want to get. And so some people may think it's a coincidence, but again, like he didn't know where the house was located. He didn't know what city it was in. He just saw it and he was like, "Oh, that's a really nice house. Let me put it on the board." And I'm telling you all, this stuff works because I did this same thing about, when did I do it? Probably 1 or 2 years ago. I put on my vision board here. Let me show all of you. This is crazy. Share screen. Okay, share screen. Check this out. I put this on my Facebook too, but I put this on my vision board. I think it was in 2020 or 2021, but I didn't just put it on my vision board and like put it in a box like John did. I actually set it as my home screen on my phone. I put this and a bunch of other pictures so that every day I was looking at it. I wanted to live in Southern California. I wanted to have a balcony with a nice ocean view and a nice city view. And I wanted to have like a nice table so that I can do work on there. Look at what I got. You see how similar that is? Isn't that crazy? Same thing, city view. I'm a little bit closer to the city, but city view, ocean view, nice balcony. I work out here all the time. And so I'm telling you all of this because, again, remember what I told you, that in order to get what you want, you have to be clear on what you want. And remember, you also have to be deserving of what you want. So when you're putting things on your vision board, just remember that it is okay to want things. Some people are reluctant to be clear on what they want because because they seem like they feel like they're coming off as like selfish, as egotistical. However, you have to realize that it is okay to have what you want, because you deserve to be operating in abundance. When you are abundant, then you show up better in your content. When you show up better in your content, then you attract more clients. When you attract more clients, then you can help them beyond just your content. So I do encourage you to create a vision board. You can use the same tool, Canva. So by the way, if you all are listening and you're not using Canva, I do encourage you to sign up for at least the free version. And when you do, you can just start a blank template. I usually just type in YouTube thumbnail because it has like a really nice dimension to it. And like from here, you can start a blank one and you can just put pictures on here of what you want. Put the pictures of what you want in 2024. Do you want a dream body? Do you want a dream car? Do you want a dream house? But don't just think about what you want. And again, there's nothing wrong with thinking about what you want. You deserve what you want. Put it on the board, but also think of the impact that you want to make. What do you want to do for others? I'll show you all mine, where to go. So this is mine right here. This is just to maybe give all of you some ideas. I haven't put like a little quote on here. I am the master of my destiny in 2024. And I encourage all of you to do this on a blank template in Canva. And I encourage you not only to have this, but to also look at it. Mine was on here, but I accidentally deleted it. Mine is always on my desktop and I look at it. I look at it all the time. And I actually had to create a new one because some of the stuff on this board I already got. Like I already moved to San Diego. I made this about over a year ago. I moved to San Diego. A lot of the stuff already like came into fruition. So I encourage you to do this as well. What do you want to achieve on YouTube this year? What do you want to achieve with your business? Do you want to go to events? Do you want to earn your play button? Do you want to take it a step further and do speaking gigs? Do you want to maybe start a podcast or grow your current podcast? Think big here. Do not play small, because when you play small, then you're not stepping into your full potential. Everyone here has the ability to be something big. Not everyone wants to be something big, and that's totally fine, but if you want it, you can have it. And so be clear here. Do you want to meet certain people? I really want to meet Tony Robbins, so I put it on here. What else? Do you want to work out a lot? Do you want to not only pursue your YouTube channel and your business, but do you also want to maybe have like a hobby? I want to get back into photography, so I put that on mine. So I encourage all of you to do this. This is a really fun activity, and remember, everyone, that when it comes to this, sky is the limit. So have fun with this. This should be a fun thing, and just remember that some people think like, oh, vision boards, like, like that's like not productive. Like it's better just to be doing. Yes, you want to do stuff. I'm not saying this isn't one of those things where you put something on a board and sit around, cross your fingers, and then boom, it falls into your lap. That's not how this works. Again, everyone, this is about getting clear on what you want so that you can see where you're at and then know how to close the gap. The reason why I was able to achieve what it was that I wanted was because I was crystal clear, like as clear as I could possibly be. And I shot big. I posted on my Facebook and my Instagram this morning what I was able to do in 2023. And I tell you all of this just so that you can see how well this stuff works. So I put that in 2023, I was able to move to my dream city. I was able to build a 6-figure business. I put on my vision board that I wanted to go to events to network. Boom, it came into my reality. I didn't just want to work, but I also wanted to enjoy. I wanted to have fun. And so I like to skateboard. I like to go running. I put that on my board because we don't just want to be hunched over a computer all the time. We want to be living our lives, because what's the point? We'll talk more about that later, how you don't want to sacrifice your life for your business. Don't sacrifice health. Don't sacrifice relationships for your business. We'll talk more about that, but put on your vision board for now. What do you really want to do? What kind of fun do you want to have? And then I posted this on my Facebook and on my Instagram this morning. I also put that in 2024, I plan to launch an app, launch a blog, launch a podcast. I want to reconnect with oceanography because some of you may know I studied that in college, so I want to connect with that. I want to earn 6-7 figures, maybe even higher. I want to donate that money, and I want to spend time at the beach. And so that's what I'm striving for in 2024. And again, everyone, this is all about planning our futures, planning this year. And so, yes, have fun with this. Put stuff on the board. Go crazy here. Don't think small. But also, think about what are you going to do to close the gap? If you put something on there, think to yourself, think practical. What are you going to do to close the gap? What's something that you're going to do every single day to do that? And I do encourage all of you to, when it comes to content, to use this calendar that I gave you, which is in the description down below. Use that, but also think of it from the business piece. Think about, okay, what do I need to do for the business half? Because remember, everyone, that when it comes to spreading your message and posting content, you can help people beyond just a piece of content by offering additional products and services. A big limiting belief that people have is, oh, I don't want to do that because, that's taking people's money and that's wrong and I don't want to do that. But you have to see that these people, think about your niche, these people who are struggling, who have a problem, maybe they want to be happier in life and that's what your content is focused on. Maybe they want to lose weight. Maybe they want to, maybe they want to improve their relationships with their spouse, with their friends, with their family. You have to realize that these people have these problems and they're spending money in other areas. So they're spending money on online programs, they're spending money on certain diet plans, different things out there. But the problem now, and I think this is just a problem with like corporate America, it's gotten to a point where a lot of these companies, they are motivated by profit and they don't actually have people's best interest in mind. So let's use the health niche, for example. Let's say you want to help people lose weight. So there's a lot of big companies that are selling like these pharmaceutical drugs that aren't beneficial to the person. But this person is struggling so much, they really want to lose weight and they feel so hopeless that they're actually spending money on that. And so by you offering another solution, maybe it's like one-on-one help. Maybe it's like, I know someone who created an app for losing weight. Maybe it's some type of community where they can be part of a group of people who are also trying to lose weight. You have to realize that that's a better alternative. And by you offering that, you are doing a major service, not just to those people, but also to yourself, because you are fulfilling your highest purpose. You came here to do that. A lot of people aren't embodying their true selves, especially in their content. They're trying to be like someone who they're not. And it's a shame because what people really connect with is when you are you. When you are you and you are authentic, that's what people really connect with. And so, yes, use this tool that I gave you to plan your content, but also think about what you want to do with the business piece. Because in order to offer products and services, there is a science behind it. The art is being yourself. That's what people connect with. But the science is like, okay, how do I turn a viewer on social media into a customer, into a client? That's the business piece of, creating web pages, creating offers, creating content with SEO. And then once people purchase, how do you deliver it to them? So that's like the tech and the software, especially in the online space. If you want to offer a community, how are you going to offer that? If you want to offer a course, how are you going to offer that? If all of you want my help with that and you are just starting out, so you're just building the foundations, I do have a Clarity to Cash program, and that link is down below. And I'm going to walk you through my 5-step process, which is right here, of building the foundations, getting in the flow of that content, building community, earning cash, and ultimately contributing, because this is what we're really here to do. But you got to start from the bottom and work your way up. So there's a link down below. That's Clarity to Cash program. And there is an option for Feedback Friday, which I highly encourage that I can coach you along the way. But yeah, so I hope all of you by this point, as I was talking, maybe put some stuff on your vision board. And I hope that you look at that every day. So let's talk about how to actually get there, because if you've been watching from beginning to end, now you have a content calendar. Now you know what you want to achieve for this year, not just with YouTube and with business, but with other areas of your life. Remember, everyone, that all these areas of your life, they're all interconnected. So, you got your health, you got your family, you got your YouTube, you got your business. They're all connected together. So we want to think like big picture here. A big mistake that people make when it comes to this is, and I fell into this too, sometimes high achievers and people who are like just really productive, who want to do the YouTube and the business, sometimes we get so hyper focused on the work that we sacrifice our health, we sacrifice our close relationships. What else? We sacrifice what we really care about in life, whether it's like hobbies, doing other things. So I know when I started doing this, it was after I graduated from college and I moved back in with my mom and I went all in with this. And I was hunched over a computer all day wasn't getting any exercise. My eyeballs were like so strained every night. And also like I lost connection with a lot of people in my life, a lot of friends, a lot of family members. And so when it comes to all this, let's take it one thing at a time, because I want all of you to actually achieve your action plan for 2024. But it's going to require work. It is going to require work on the computer. It is going to require hours of focus. But let's talk about that. So let's talk about how to not sacrifice your health this year to achieve your goals. So when it comes to working, what I really recommend is this. Here, I'm going to share my screen. Share screen. Hopefully this works. Okay. Hopefully you all can see this. So when it comes to doing work, I really do recommend a standing desk, because a standing desk is so much better for you, because when you're sitting all the time, that's not good for your nerves. It's not good for your tailbone. And I want all of you to succeed in 2024, but not at the cost of your health. Especially if you're young, you don't want to have like joint pain by the time you're 30. And so I do recommend having a standing desk. I'll show you the shoes that I use in just a second here. They're really good shoes. But if you see this mat right here, before I got these shoes, I was standing on this like thick mat. It was just from Amazon. It's like an inch thick. It's like this firm foam. And so I used to stand on that, but now I use these shoes, which I'll show you. But another thing I do is I have like a yoga mat right here. This is like a bamboo mat. I also stretch every morning, and I also stretch my wrists, because when I went all in with this, even though I built a 6-figure business, I was getting symptoms of carpal tunnel. And I was like, was it really worth that? No, it's not. Luckily, I don't have carpal tunnel, but that's what I mean. Like, let's say that you sacrifice your health to get wealth. Once you have the wealth, you're going to be spending that on your health, especially if you're in America. The healthcare system isn't always the best. Not to get into politics or that right now, but the point is like, I do recommend having a standing desk. Another thing that I recommend is keep your eyeballs in mind. So I wear these at night. I also wear them, but I didn't want to wear them for this call, but it blocks out like the blue light. Blue light isn't good because that actually affects your circadian rhythm. So if you're taking in like blue light, especially at nighttime, then it's like, remember, we have Homo sapien brains. We have mammal brains. And so it's like our brain forgets. It's like, oh, it's daytime, but it messes up your whole sleep system. And then if you don't sleep, then you're not going to show up good in your content. You're not going to do the things like build the web pages, make the offers and all that in 2024. So remember your eyeballs. If you need glasses or contacts, wear them. Another thing that I have is I have these gloves. Just bought them on Amazon. This is to prevent carpal tunnel. I put these gloves on usually at night. I don't wear them all the time, but there's like a splint in here so that I don't bend my wrist. This is good so that you don't get the carpal tunnel, because you will get symptoms. You can check right now if you have symptoms. So if you take your hand and you like do this to each finger, you should be able to feel which one of your fingers has carpal tunnel. For me, it's my middle finger. I use my middle finger a lot because I have a trackpad. I use a laptop mainly because I like to move like on my balcony. I like to go to the library. And so I use my middle finger a lot for the trackpad. So this finger I need to watch out for. I think my pinky too. My pinky's fine, but it's mainly my middle finger. So if you try this, then you'll know. And another thing you can do is you can like put your hand against the wall like that. I do this throughout the day. I put my hand like this just to stretch out my wrist, get the blood flowing. Because if you're always like bending your wrist when you're working, you're going to damage the nerves, and that's irreversible. So keep that in mind. And what else? Oh, water. Drink a ton of water. Guys, this is super important. Like, I'm telling you, like, even water, it sounds so simple, but like it makes you think better. It makes you think better. It also keeps your mouth from getting dry. So that'll help you speak better in your content. So there's that. There's something else that I want to show all of you. Oh yeah, I know what it was. My shoes. I forgot about that. So the shoes that I use on my desk are these Hokas. They're really made for running, but they're also really good for like standing. They have like a thick bottom, so they have really nice support. I don't wear these outside because I like to wear them like where I live, and outside is dirty. So I have these just for working here. So that's something else as well. Let's talk about what else is needed to actually execute our content plan, and also to actually, bring our vision board to life. Something else that I recommend is getting in the habit of reading. Reading is really big and it's really important. kind of like all these great people wrote books, and it's like you can get mentored by like Gandhi, by Tony Robbins, by Oprah, by all these great people without having to meet them. Isn't that like so profound? So many people are just taking in mindless content on social media like this. But by taking that time that you spend every day, you can read a book. And I don't know about all of you, but every week, like my phone tells me like how long I spent on my phone, like my screen time. I've gotten mine to under 2 hours, which is pretty good. But I think some of that doesn't even count because some of it, like I'm just listening to like a podcast on YouTube and that takes up screen time. But yeah, I recommend instead taking that time and listening to a book or reading a book. I mentioned this one earlier on. There's another really good one, especially if you want to like really bring your action plan to life. This Ask and It Is Given is a super good book. I read it like 3 times. This is all about learning to manifest your desires. It's really good for business. When I first read this book, I attracted my first $3,000 paying client for my YouTube channel. So one thing I will say, this is a good book. Here's a little side note, everyone. People are going to recommend books to you, but you may not always connect with it. I've had mentors tell me, like, you have to read this book. It's so good. And I read it, and it's like, it's all right. I actually recommended this once to a client. And I will say that there was one part in the beginning where it was a little bit kind of spooky. They talked about like a spirit coming out of someone's body, and I told the client to read it, and he was like, that freaked me out. I had to put the book down. So you can skip the beginning, just start on chapter 1. You don't have to read the, what is it called? The intro and the, like how they have the preface, however you say that. You don't have to read that because that could spook you out, but this is a really good book. Skip to chapter 1, golden. What else do we have here? So 2 big skills with being a YouTuber and being an entrepreneur, being a content creator, sales and marketing. These are huge. People think sales and marketing are the same thing. They're not. These books, they really changed the way that I think about both sales and marketing. When I was in college, I told you all I was studying marine biology, and I thought of like business, like the business school is like, like making money and, like tricking people with like false marketing, but that's really not what sales and marketing is. Marketing is getting a message out. Selling is getting people to take action. When I thought about it that way, I was like, that's so interesting. That applies to so many things in life. Even at the time and I still do love like ocean protection. That's what ocean protection is. Getting the word out, getting people to take action. Hey, donate money. Hey, volunteer. And so regardless of your niche on YouTube and with business, these are 2 big skills and they're totally different. Again, marketing is getting the word out, getting people to understand, raising awareness. Selling is getting them to take action. This doesn't have to mean like, like spend thousands of dollars. Like, no, selling is a service. Think of selling like a service. If I didn't sell to my clients, I wouldn't have helped them get a result. If some of you want to see that, here, let me show you. Still getting used to StreamYard, by the way, so thanks for your patience. Actually, before I dive into that, there's one last thing I want to talk about, because in order for you to accomplish the plan that you created for 2024, and also in order for you to execute your content calendar, I encourage you also to fill your emotional cup. In other words, do the things that you like. Do not sacrifice success on YouTube and with your business. Don't sacrifice your relationships and what you love. So if you have other hobbies, if you have a spouse, if you have kids, if you have friends, don't sacrifice it. It's not worth it. Think of it this way. In order for you to show up good in your content, you have to fill your emotional cup. So how do you expect yourself to show up in your content for strangers, for clients who you may not even know yet, for that? It's really not worth it. And some people may think it's unproductive. Some hardcore entrepreneurs are just like, I'm just working all the time, nothing else matters. And sometimes that works for them, but I've met some of those people. I actually was in a workshop with a millionaire, and my intuition is just like, this guy is miserable. He was so miserable. You could tell he was burnt out. He was up all night. He just was kind of like a shell. It's like he lost his like spark. He lost his juice because he wanted to make money with his business. And again, there's nothing wrong with that. But if it comes at that sacrifice, it's like I could tell he wasn't showing up with his full personal power. What do I mean by personal power? So let's talk about that for a second, because another thing I don't want you all to fall into is focusing so much on this and not focusing on the person who you need to become. Let me explain that, because focusing on the person who you need to become doesn't mean that you're trying to be like someone who you're not. I thought that for a long time. And so what it really means is, it really means like embodying and embracing the best version of you. A lot of people are holding back, not just their, personality traits, but also their unique stories, their mistakes, their experiences. And a lot of people who I see, their content is too much in left brain delivery mode. Someone booked a one-time call with me yesterday. He wanted me to review his YouTube channel and his web pages. And I looked at his content, and he had really good content. Like you could tell he knew what he was talking about. But in the video, he smiled twice, once in the beginning and once at the end. And it was very like slight, like it wasn't a real smile. And I told him, and when I met him, he was super funny. He was smiling. He was laughing. He was easy to have a conversation with. And I told him, I was like, I'm not going to lie to you. I watched a bunch of your content before this call, but I didn't know who you were. Now I feel like I know who you are because I see your personality, but I didn't know who you were. And so a lot of us need to focus on owning our personal power. So embracing the highest version of you. Sometimes your biggest insecurities are your biggest superpowers. Think about it. If you were to own some of that stuff, you could actually inspire a lot of people, and that can help you to stand out. To give you all an example, many of you know my story. I used to intern for TEDx. I did some clubs throughout college where I learned about YouTube, marketing, and branding, and then I took that knowledge, I put it over here to this channel. And I thought when I started that I needed like thousands of subscribers on this channel to make an impact in order for me to sell my products and my services. But I had a mentor help me, she helped me to work past that. And I learned that it really wasn't about that. When I started to embrace that, it's like, hey, I built a 6-figure business from a YouTube channel with 3,000 subscribers. Do you see how that helps me to stand out? Sometimes your biggest insecurity is your biggest superpower. And so I encourage all of you to own that fully and watch the magic happen. Like seriously, like when I started doing it, I was just like, I was afraid. Don't get me wrong. Doing this doesn't mean that you have to like not be afraid. You can be afraid. You don't have to be perfect. And honestly, I just reached a point where I was like, fine, F it, I'll do it. And so I started putting my products and my services out there. And I was really, really, really surprised. I was like, wow. At first, I was like, these people want to work with me. Like, did they not see like my YouTube subscribers? But I saw that, okay, it's not just that they want. They don't just want subscribers, but they want the business piece. They also saw that I was fulfilling a very high expression of myself. And so that's what people want. So if you're in a niche where you're teaching people how to be happy, you're teaching people how to be conscious, you have to embody that too, especially if you're in a business niche, because people want to see that your business created happiness, fulfillment, and peace in you. And so I just want to give all of you that perspective. Seriously, like own your mistakes. Seriously, own your story. Don't hold that back. And sometimes we forget like aspects of our own story because it's so normal to us. I wasn't owning the TEDx experience because to me, it's like I did it for 4 years and it's still normal, part of my everyday reality that I thought it was not something to boast about. But my mentor was like, no, you got to promote that because you're going to inspire people. People are going to want to achieve big things too. And so I did. And I'm telling you all that because I encourage all of you to do it too. And really watch the magic happen, because I'm telling you, when you are embodying your highest self and when you're being you on camera and you let go of perfection, that is when results come in. That is when you will attract hot and high-paying dream clients, people who you want to work with. It also takes being specific in your content. So sometimes we try to be everything for everyone. So we try to help everyone to become healthy. We try to help everyone to better their relationship, any relationship. We try to help anyone to be happy. But when you try to speak to everyone, you really speak to no one. You have to be specific. And that doesn't mean that you exclude a bunch of people, but you want to be known as the expert in something. So when people look at you, they want to know you as the expert in one thing. Like, oh, he's the health expert. Oh, he is the, people look at me, oh, she's the YouTube expert, which I am. And so think about what that is for you. And maybe if you don't know that answer yet, that's okay. I didn't know when I started, but when I created content, clarity started to come to me. But when you're specific, and that's when you start to attract dream clients. when you attract the dream clients, that's when you start to make more money, and that's when things start to be fun. I don't want this plan that we created in this call to feel like work to you. This should flow from you. This should like flow out of you like water. That's how abundant you are. I'm glad that I said water, because you want to be showing up in your content from a full cup. So you want your cup to be overflowing. A lot of people try to serve their clients. They try to show up in their content from an empty cup. So in other words, when they post content, it's draining them. But that's not how you want to give. You want this to be overflowing. You want to meet your health. You want to meet your health needs. You want to meet your personal needs. If you have a spouse, you want to make sure they're happy and fulfilled. Your kids are happy and fulfilled. And then you want to create content. And then you want to step into your personal power. If you're going into it thinking like, oh, like, I got to create this content so that people buy this, so that I can pay my bills, that's scarcity, and people can feel that, and you're not going to get results with your business. I learned that, and when I let that go, and again, that doesn't mean that, like, yes, we need to pay our bills, but don't like hold on to that. Like when you're talking to clients, when you're in your content, like let that go, embody yourself, let your light shine. Don't be attached to outcomes, and that's when your content will flow out of you. That is when you will look at your vision board and be like, oh my God, this happened to me exactly the way I wanted to. It's very powerful, and it's very, very magical. And seriously, like, I've gotten great results with it. My clients have gotten great results with it. And by the way, if you're someone who would like my help with it, feel free to apply for my group down below. I do run live group workshops every week on Mondays, and I host a live Q&A session. This is for the serious YouTubers and entrepreneurs. This is not for people who are dabbling. This isn't for people who don't take things seriously, who don't want it bad enough. And this is really for people coming from that place of empowerment and enthusiasm, and they really know that they were meant for more in this life, and they feel called to pursue this path, because this isn't for everyone. Some people feel called to pursue a lot in life, but they have a different path. Maybe it's academia or something with a corporate job, and that's fine. But if you feel called to pursue the path of being a YouTuber, being an entrepreneur, I do encourage you to apply for my group down below. It's called the YouTube Business Accelerator. You can apply, and I'll look over your application and I'll email you back. We'll start a discussion. But I just want you to see what's possible with all this. Here, let me share my screen with all of you. I want to show all of you what's possible with this. I'm still getting used to StreamYard. There we go. So I just want to show you some clients of mine who were able to not just own their personal power, but implement a practical strategy. So this is Sebastian. I met him at a Tai Lopez event. We were chatting before the event for maybe an hour, but he had a YouTube channel and he had a business, but there were just some gaps in between his content and also in his webpage. So I actually showed him a strategy, and in 5 seconds, literally 5 seconds it took him to implement, he was able to drive more views to his long form videos. Not only that, but also he was able to get leads for his business. So turn the viewer into a client. I want you to see, everyone, that a lot of people who I work with have a sense of like higher purpose. So I see a lot of coaches doing what I'm doing, and it's kind of like a big scheme where they're like, I coach coaches, how to coach coaches, how to coach coaches. But most of the people who I work with like aren't like business coaches. They're people who have like a genuine passion, and they want to make a business out of it. They want to help other people with it because they see the power in it. This is my client, Kimberly, and she's really passionate about knitting, and it ties into a higher purpose of hers in life. And after a month in my community, we created a product that she offered in her YouTube videos around knitting, and that one product alone, boom, 12 times her initial investment. You see that? And again, everyone, Kimberly showed up. Kimberly did the work. Kimberly came at it from the heart of service. And, all these people, they pivoted as needed, and that's why they got a result. So that's Kimberly. Brad, I love Brad. Brad, he reignited his childhood passion for drawing, and he was able to leave his corporate job. Very incredible stuff. Dulce, who I think is here right now, first week turned a social media viewer into a $3,000 paying client. She got featured on a very big podcast, the Jeff Mara podcast, which did really well. That brought in coaching applicants. But it didn't just grow her business. It really helped Dulce to spread her message and to open people's eyes to animal communication, So she's a psychic reader for pet owners, which is really awesome. Rasmuth as well. He's doing great. He's a young man in the personal development niche, and he was able to turn his channel into a lead machine. I met him with 4 subscribers, but now he's getting applicants for his coaching, and it's really phenomenal what you can do. None of these people here have millions upon millions of subscribers, but it comes to show that you don't need that. I don't have that. Excuse me. You don't need that. It's a matter of turning viewers into customers. I really think that in the modern world, a lot of people have gotten really wacky with numbers. So they think that views and followers is symmetrical with how much money that you make, but truly it's asymmetrical. Because think about it, someone with 1 million followers, if they're putting out garbage, mindless content, they're actually not doing any good for those people. They're probably ruining their mental health. They're not giving them true value, impacting their life. Versus a YouTuber with 1,000 subscribers, if they offer additional help, think about it, additional help, they're going to impact more people. It's that simple. And so I really think in the modern world, people are just so wacky with it, but it's not the right metric. I hope you all see by now that it's not symmetrical. And if you're doing what you are destined to do because you just feel it in your gut, then it doesn't even matter if, I know a lot of you want to be well known. I get it. You want to get your message out there. That's not for an egotistical reason. But if you're coming at it from a good place, it doesn't even really matter if you're ever even famous, because it's kind of like that. I didn't watch it this year, but it's kind of like A Wonderful Life. George Bailey, it's like he didn't know the big impact that he had until he died, and then an angel helped him to see it. It's like, oh, wow, like he thought that he wasn't making any impact, and then he was like, oh, wow, I'm actually impacting this whole town, this whole city, my whole family. It's crazy. A lot of us YouTubers, a lot of us entrepreneurs don't see the big ripple effect. You don't. Maybe we will. That'd be cool if when we die, it's like we get to see all that. I don't know what happens when we die, but that'd be really cool if it's like that. But I just want all of you to see that. I hope by now you create your plans for 2024. You create a content schedule, because that is really like the practical thing that will help you to get there. Again, everyone, this isn't just about this isn't wishy-washy stuff. Like, oh, put it on a board and it's going to fall in your lap. No, you guys actually have to do stuff. And I know you all know that. But I hope that this was motivational for you. I hope you got something from this. Hello, if you're watching the replay. Hi, Tim. It's been a while since I've seen you around. Thank you, everyone, for watching live. But I am going to end this now. I am thinking of doing this every week, by the way. So we'll see how this goes. I'm getting in the flow of this. I actually really like going live, so I think I'll do it again. But thanks, everyone, for watching live, and I hope to see all of you again next week. Bye.